Hello, greetings. This is Film Sponge. This is a little show that we've decided to start out, and we're just going to be talking about film and kind of our experiences and yeah, all of that stuff. This is my good friend Leo,
Hello, hello.
who is here today. We're going to talk about getting started in film and
Yep.
kind of what that means.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
It's a toughie.
So, what made you want to get into film?
God. Is it cliche to be like, oh, ever since I was a kid, I had a sparkle and a wonder. But it's kind of true though. Like, when I was always obsessed with like making like Legos with my sister,
Oh yeah.
and we would just like come up with these like multi-season arcs, and we never like build actual Lego on the instructions. We would just make our own stuff. And that blossomed into like just creating stuff for her own. And then as a hobby, because I was bored, I was like making these like YouTube skits, kind of.
I saw a couple.
Yeah. Oh my god. You had a little YouTube phase yourself,
Yeah, I
didn't
had
you?
a little YouTube phase. But it was I mean, yeah, similar. I always, as a kid, I just always had an interest in it, and I would go to my parents and tell them,
Yeah.
like stories I had for films, and yeah, just all these ideas. But they kind of already thought that film wasn't the most realistic career. That they already told me,
Yeah.
maybe don't write a script, but write a book instead.
Yeah, the classic.
But yeah, I mean, clearly there was some kind of passion there already.
Okay, I'm interested to. At what point did you realize, shit, this could be like a career? It's not just a hobby.
God, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I always, even if they told me to write a book instead of a script, I still knew that it. I always like wrote it
Yeah.
with the idea of making it into a film. It was never that I want to be a writer, a novelist. I want to be a screenwriter. It was always that.
Yeah.
So there was never like a real big moment. It was just always there. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
How about you?
No, 'cause for me, it was always just like a hobby. I didn't really have any friends. I had like one, and we made YouTube videos together. So it was just the thing to get away from the real work. And I think, I don't know, the turning point is just literally, can't remember if there's like a specific one, but a big part of the influence was like YouTube.
Yeah.
It wasn't really from
100%.
cinema that I was like, that made me realize I want to make films, even though I love watching films. I'd watch like the old Indiana Jones films, like Star Wars, etc., those kind of films, and but it's really like YouTube where I got to see like behind the scenes of people actually making the thing.
Yeah.
That made me feel like, oh, I could do that thing too. You know, it didn't really cross my mind that was like a career. Along with just kind of YouTube, like just breaking down the barrier, because I think in the past, film was this like unreachable thing where
Yeah.
they just like made magic. You had no idea how that happened, but with YouTube, with like those like old channels, Corridor Digital, Rocket Jump.
I don't know any of these.
But yeah, they would like make short films, and they'd like show the behind the scenes and making
Yeah.
it, and it suddenly became really attainable. And I was
Yeah.
like, I could do that.
Yeah, 100%.
You know? But yeah, we both went to the same uni. We did.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. We decided to pursue the film thing, and then we went out and studied it.
Yeah.
This is like a whole nother YouTube video. There's a whole nother episode to talk about whether it's
all
worth
our
it.
complaints.
But it wasn't what we expected, was it?
No,
was
it
kinda-
really wasn't. I mean, I went into it like unlike a lot of people, unlike you, for example. I feel you went into uni knowing quite a lot, and I went into it thinking here I was going to learn everything.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with writing, it's not a technical thing, and I was never really a technical person. Every camera I had, I just used the auto setting. It was
Yeah.
it was just easy. Like I didn't need to know that, and I just thought that uni was going to teach me all of this and I was going to have all these new skills. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it was also COVID that kind of ruined it for us.
Yeah.
But even without COVID, I think it was just the course itself.
Mm-hmm.
It just really wasn't what a lot of us were expecting. I
Mm-hmm.
think we just thought it was going to be more in depth. And I think I blame myself a little bit for it, but knowing that we all made the same mistake,
Mm-hmm.
it makes it a little bit easier. Just knowing that I could have maybe done a little bit more research into the
Yeah.
the better unis, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Did you feel like kind of not knowing what you're doing kind of stopped you from trying to make films and stuff? Because
Yeah.
you did make some films. I don't know if you made some films before uni, but
So, well, yeah, before uni, it was just my little YouTube channel,
yeah.
really. I
Yeah.
didn't do anything really artistic. It was
Mm-hmm.
pretty standard,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
here, what's in my bag. Just very simple,
Yeah.
girly YouTube channel things. So I never really tried anything like that. Um, and in uni, I was never happy with anything
Mm-hmm.
we made. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I was visiting a uni, or I don't know, there was something where I think it was maybe even all together. We watched a couple of the shorts that were made for the final year like project.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it and being like, these are shit.
Mm-hmm.
And thinking like, oh, mine are gonna be so much better. And they really weren't. And
Yeah.
I feel like they just, I don't know, they failed us a little bit on that. But
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I think you have a different perspective, like going into it and knowing a lot more.
Yeah, but I
than,
think a lot of
you know.
the failure I feel was not letting us fail
Mm.
by making stuff. I think like that's the biggest teacher and why I felt a lot more comfortable because I already made those shit films.
Yeah.
I didn't wait to make those shit films when I went to uni. I made those
Mhm.
films and I mean I still love them for what they are, but they are shit.
Mhm.
I made I swear my first like proper short film that wasn't a skit was this guy going through like depression.
Okay.
Yeah, the classic like
Sounds familiar.
making a short film about depression, how
Yeah.
revolutionary it's gonna be. It was called A World Wonderful.
Okay. Oh,
And
not bad.
it
I
was
like that
this
title
guy
actually.
who was like super depressed and he didn't have any friends. And he finds um these like I don't know, this box that makes
Mm.
him not as depressed anymore. And his friend comes over and he's like, "You don't need that to be happy." And the friend throws away the, the box, and there's a whole chase scene, and it was like the most boring, nonsensical thing.
I
Plus,
was
like
just thinking that sounds so interesting.
it's not on execution.
Okay.
It was just like these 15-year-olds who were just kind of like pretending like they knew what depression was and then running around in the street. But yeah, since I did that when I was 15, I made a bunch of short films. Since before going to uni, I kind of had learned a bunch of stuff, and I feel like a film school that promises to teach you how to make films should
Yeah.
let you make a bunch of films.
It's trial and
Um,
error, right?
yeah, because like I mean, if your first film isn't gonna be very good, I mean, maybe there's some guy whose first film is like great and good for them. But I
Yeah.
feel like it's more interesting when it's bad. That means like this is the worst you're gonna get.
Yeah,
It's
there's
only gonna get
always
better,
room for improvement. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
And I feel like I don't know about you, but I feel like for a lot of people that's like a big stopping block. Like I don't know enough about this. I needed my first film to be great, Oscar worthy kind of
Well,
thing.
we know that I put a lot of pressure on myself. We just made a film in April of
Yeah,
last year.
we
My
did.
little short film.
We did.
Let me think. And
Coming soon.
yeah, come and just give me some time. I really put a lot of pressure on myself because it was my first short film after uni, and I had this idea for it that it was going to be, I don't know, the first like big thing I've done. A lot on my own. Like of course, like you guys helped a lot, but I just mean there's a lot that I did it by myself as well, and I hadn't really done that before. I feel like I was always the side person in everything, whereas
Yeah.
now I was the main person.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it definitely didn't turn out how I wanted it to, but I have taken it as this big like learning curve. And once it's done, and I'm not the happiest with it, but I'm happy that I did it. And even just like showing it to
Yeah.
Jacob, who's
Mm-hmm.
composing
Mm-hmm.
the score. Like seeing his reaction, I don't know if he was just being nice to me, but he said he genuinely liked it, and he
Mm-hmm.
I guess also maybe because I put his expectations down,
Mm-hmm.
because I did not really have good things to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, the point is, I think I'm in a stage where I do want to do that. I guess
Yeah.
what you did years ago is just make stuff, and that's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
making the thing I told you, just like a short little video, and hopefully I'm gonna be making
Yeah.
some more things
Mm-hmm.
soon, even if they're shit.
Yeah. That's a big thing too with that film is what you're doing a lot. You're acting in it, you wrote it, you directed
Yeah,
it, and
overachiever.
yeah, I feel like there's also, I mean, when I started, I felt like I needed to do everything, and the
Mm,
big learning curve there was like, no, it's a team sport.
yeah,
You know, you,
you can get the
yeah,
help.
and I think what's so great and why I helped out is because you helped me out on a bunch of my stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I help you out on your stuff, and it's kind of like this, like, you know, I do this thing for you, do
You
this thing for,
scratch
it's
my
like
back.
exactly that kind of thing, and
Yeah.
I think that's really great about like having this like a filmmaking community, and I feel like that was definitely lacking during like the uni days.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think with uni we all
Mm-hmm.
said we were gonna do a lot of things, and then we just
Yeah.
never did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I made one film outside
Mm-hmm.
of uni
Yeah.
during uni, and I didn't really have much to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing
Yeah.
happened to
Tell
it.
us about this film. Tell us about this film.
God. Should I?
Yes.
Um, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Getaway
I know what
car.
you're talking
Okay.
about.
Well, yeah, I getaway car. I was like, how do you not know?
The name drop right there.
Sorry, because she looks so confused.
Okay, okay.
Um,
Rather than talk about the film, how was your experience doing that? There?
I think it showed me what I already knew, which is what that I didn't know anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I did sound. I was the boom operator, and I loved it, and I think that's something we wanted to touch upon.
Yeah.
That like sound is something I would never want to do, but it was really interesting
Mm-hmm.
to put myself in that position and
Yeah.
yeah, do something different. And I think
Mm-hmm.
everyone kind of needs to try everything
Mm.
once,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Like having a more holistic experience of what, you know, what goes into making a film really helps, especially if you're directing.
100%.
Because if you're directing and you don't know what it's like to act, you don't know how what it's like to write, you don't know how, you know, it's like organizing a crew, it's gonna be a lot harder for you to envision certain stuff, especially like
100%,
with
yeah.
like editing. If you don't know how to edit, you gotta have like a hard, if you don't have like that vision, that like kind of in mind, that skill set in mind, there's always gonna be a incongruency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also even the fact that, you've always been like on the cinematography side of things,
Mm-hmm.
and then just recently you've had more of an interest in directing
Mm-hmm.
and producing.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
I'll tell you what, I never really wanted to get into cinematography. Oh, jury's out on that. But
Whoa.
like I was very much like a writer director going in, but
Okay.
the reality is everyone wants to direct, but who's doing all the other shit, you know? So,
Yeah.
you know, I think I need to find another niche. I like editing, or I was good at editing, but I didn't like love it.
Yeah.
And I just the thing I was actually lacking a lot was in the cinematography. So I was like, I want to learn more about this thing. So let me focus on this thing. And it ended up being my thing. And then I was able to work with a bunch of people looking for cinematographers. So having that little niche helps a lot. I know there's always a need for like a sound guy,
Yeah,
you
100%.
know?
No one wants to do sound. That's what I'm
No
saying.
one wants to do sound.
Especially sound editing.
Yeah, sound like sound mixing. No one wants to do that, but
That's
everyone
really
wants like a sound person, and Like you'd be surprised like how many like favors you can get from it, and also how much you can get paid. You get, some people
100%.
get paid like a lot more than like regular crew members.
Well, also just because there's a smaller pool, there's
Yeah.
less people competing. Like even thinking back, we went to this one networking event a couple years ago,
Which one was it?
and the one in Angel.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
And and if you recall, it just felt so. I mean, I know you got some context, but for me, it felt really pointless because every person I encountered wanted to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's not really gonna help if I'm just meeting people to compete with. And there was one girl, and she came up and she goes, "Oh, I'm a colorist." And the second she said that, all these people start surrounding her, going, "Oh, oh, oh, can I get your Instagram? Can I get your Instagram?"
Yeah.
Because she's an asset because she's the one person that sticks out. And so
Yeah, for
it
sure.
is really like, even though I'm kind of being a hypocrite here because I do want to be a writer, which is one of the things everyone wants to do, there is so much value in doing those other
Yeah. Yeah,
jobs.
even if it's like something very like niche, like maybe it's like assistant directing, or
Yeah.
you I don't know, you gaff. I mean, gaffers are like really important, but no one hears about what a gaffer does. Like that's valuable. Like,
Yeah,
and
100%.
it's not saying, like, most, I feel, crew people want to do their own films. But to do it, they have to like collaborate, and I think that's really important to be able to like also diversify your skill set, and yeah. Well, what do you think? What do you say your other like the other thing is? So you have like writing and directing right here.
Yeah.
Do you have like another thing you're interested in kind of pursuing or anything?
Well, I mean, editing was one of them.
For sure.
I have edited for a long time because I had the
Yeah.
YouTube channel, but I had this like I had a Windows computer and no money, so I just had like the cheapest. I think it was like maybe on my Windows laptop from fucking ages ago. Whatever. It was
Do
a
you know how much?
shitty editing.
Do you know how much
software.
RAM you had?
I don't even know what that is. See, that's the thing. I don't know any of the technical things, and that's my issue. But also, like, do I need to know that? I don't know. Maybe I do. But like, I don't know. I'm happy, like, being blissfully unaware. And but yeah, I mean, I just did very simple cuts, and I was really fast at doing that then because I kind of
Yeah.
made the schedule for myself that I would film something Sunday morning and post it Sunday night. So I really had to like do it fast. Which is silly because no one was watching my YouTube videos anyways.
No one was watching mine. It was like my parents.
Well, my parents didn't watch.
Oh
No, but I hid it from them.
no. Okay. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah.
What was my point? My point is, yeah, I didn't. Simple, quick editing. That's what I did.
Yeah.
And I pretty much have continued to do that. I would love to learn a little bit more, but my issue is I kind of do find it hard to sit down until you get into the flow of things.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to sit down and just be like, okay, I'm going to edit this. And that's why I put off Let Me Think for so long, or part of the reason why.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I mean, even with writing, sometimes I have that. But when I start writing, I find it a lot easier to just be like...
Yeah. I mean, I've been involved in a lot of films where we
Okay.
finished, like we
Flex.
finished editing. I mean, we finished shooting, and then the editing like takes like a year.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't feel bad if you take time, because it's like editing is a long process.
I think it's just draining as well. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's why my friend that edits, like, I find it so crazy that he'll just edit something so quick. Like, I even had one little, the shot with my mic in it.
Yeah.
I just asked him on a whim. I was like, "Is there any way you could remove it for me?" And he did it in
How do you
like
manage
20
to do
minutes.
that? How do you do it?
He didn't remove it fully, but at least he got.
Did he like mask it out?
He masked, like you can see it, but because the light isn't there anymore, it's not like it doesn't.
Yeah.
You don't look at it straight away.
Yeah.
At least.
Can I say something
Yeah.
about the editing thing? I also think it helps when like you're not editing something you directed.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like it sometimes takes a while.
Yeah, that's true.
I think editing something you directed is
Mhm.
like it makes you more critical and why it takes so long. I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always this period where you're just like, wow, this is shit. You go through like the phases
Yeah.
of like of what was it, of grief or something? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I know
There's
the
like stages to
last
it.
one is acceptance.
Yeah, there's
Mm.
stages where it's just this is garbage,
The
and you
Simpsons.
go from like it's shit to it's good, and then it's
Yeah, which is
slightly
kind of
less
where
shit,
I
and
had,
then,
yeah.
Mm.
But then I'm reminded of when I did that short course at NFTS, name drop. Sorry.
That's National Film and Television School,
Yeah,
by the way.
of
So
course.
you know. Okay.
There was an editor there that like he talked about it, whatever, and he said your job is kind of to take something shit and make it good.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, but I think if you're looking at it from that perspective, there's a lot you can do.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Would you recommend the folks at home who maybe want to get into filmmaking? Would you recommend editing to them?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
everyone should learn how to do everything once. I think I remember one time someone asked me, like, because I used to do these tiny little, I mean, everyone did those like montage videos, like summer montage
Yeah.
to a song on Instagram or something. I did those, and I remember there was someone who asked me, like, rewind. And there was someone who asked me how I edited, and I just said, like I literally said something like I don't know how to explain it because there's no how to unless it's a specific thing. You just have to do it. It's the same thing with like grading or whatever.
Yeah.
You just like kind of have fun with it.
It's not like a
until you find
recipe
it.
or anything. It's different.
Exactly.
I think it's like more. It's like more of an art form than it is like a technical skill. I think. I mean, obviously there's a
Yeah.
lot of technical stuff in editing, but like a lot of it's just very subjective about what works and what doesn't work, and
Yeah.
it's hard to quantify, and it depends per project. You know.
Okay, so this is our little letterbox moment. Do you pronounce the D in letterbox? That's a great
Letterboxed.
because everyone in uni when they told me they were like, "Oh my god, do you have letterbox?" And I was like, "What's letterbox?" And then I searched it up, letterboxed, and I was
Yeah.
confused. But I think you
I do.
do. Oh,
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone do
I
it, but I
honestly
don't know if it's just
forgot
a silent D.
There was a D in there until you just said it right now.
Yeah, because when you kind of say letterbox,
Mm-hmm.
it
Letterbox.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think it's more like a verb. Oh, I letterboxed this movie.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, wow.
What's a recent film you gave 5 stars to?
None.
None. Damn.
I haven't given 5 stars since Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Fair.
But I
That's not
haven't
fair.
watched.
There's been a lot of good films since Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Give me one. Tell me your 5-star rating.
I can't remember one right now. Oh, Holdovers. That was a good one. But you hated the Holdovers.
No, I didn't hate it. I would have to watch it again. It was just a bit slow for me. I can do with a slow film, but sometimes I need. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
That's I love that. Something that's a little wacky, something a little crazy,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
fast.
Yeah, I think.
Yes. Okay, I forgot about that. Challengers.
Oh, yeah.
Challengers.
Those
I
Challengers,
did give. I gave it 5 stars.
Yeah. It was really
No,
good.
I did. I gave it 4.5.
Wow.
I gave it 4.5.
Wow.
Again, something I have to rewatch, but I really did enjoy Challengers. I thought it was really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, you
I
gave
did.
4.5.
Oh, interesting.
I'm
Oh,
cool with
did
that.
I?
Well,
Oh,
something
did I?
I thought was interesting and I never saw anyone talk about is that Challengers follows a very simple template for like how to make a story, and that's that. And like Hitchcock did this too, where you tell the viewer something that like the other people don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
the
then they like
suspense
find
thing.
out. Yeah.
Like the bomb
But-
under the table thing.
Yeah, but the fact that we start with just a tennis match and we don't know anything behind this, and then we keep on finding more information and more information that makes it more suspenseful until the end, and we know like how important this tennis match really is.
Yeah.
And that's just such a simple story idea. Like maybe not the story itself, but just that template. I think it's really interesting, and like do it in so many ways. But that's
Yeah.
like I've literally heard of that so many times of just
Yeah, I mean,
you
it's,
know
it's
something that unfolds.
if it works, it works. You know.
Yeah, 100%. But you
Nothing's
did it in a
truly.
good way.
Yeah, nothing's really original.
Yeah.
It's just
At this
a
point.
lot of reusing stuff, but you reuse it in your own way. You
Yeah,
know?
100%. So your holdovers, you said.
Hold
And
on was
do
good.
you-
I'm struggling. Last year wasn't that great. Oh no, I watched Anora. That was my
Oh, yeah, you liked
recent
Anora.
5-star film, which
Yeah.
I really loved. It was really good. Sean Baker is awesome. Great director. He's a really good
Yeah,
director.
no, okay.
In terms of like, I guess inspiration and wanting to like films like or like filmmakers who are very accessible to new filmmakers. I think Sean Baker is one of those because
Yeah,
he
he
manages to do so much with so little.
Yeah.
Like the premises themselves are very simple.
Mm-hmm.
It usually stars kind of marginalized groups, but kind of tackles their stories in a very human way, and
Yeah.
it uses a lot of like kind of lo-fi stuff. I mean, Tangerine was shot on an iPhone, and most of his films are very much kind of, you know, on the wall, handheld, nothing too crazy, and like I feel like you can learn a lot. I mean, I definitely learned a lot from him, and you know, Anora especially. A lot of what I loved about it is how performance focused it is. Like you could tell a lot of it was improvised, but it just works like
Which
really
he
well.
does that a lot as well.
Yeah,
the
he does. He
improvising.
does.
Yeah.
And I think people can get so stuck up on like writing their magnum opus that they don't let the performances kind of take the lead. And,
Yeah. And that seems
I
like
appreciate that about him.
100%. Yeah, like, because I wrote an essay on the Florida Project, and that was a big talking point that just like that he uses a lot of first time actors as well.
Yeah, it's true.
Or like, I mean, I don't know about the girl in Honora, but she's been in something. I recognize
Yeah,
her.
she's probably. I'm
But
really
this
bad
is
with
her
celebrities.
first like big
Yeah.
role.
She's in Quentin Tarantino's.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So many
She
stars
was-
came out of that.
You know,
film.
you know who was in that I didn't know? Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, she was in it.
I like, yeah,
What?
One of the Manson.
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah, wild.
she was the one with her feet on the fucking thing.
Of course, it was her feet.
Yeah. I like it's like you don't realize until you look back. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh man.
Tarantino. Oh, we won't talk about it.
No, we don't talk about him. I could rant all day
God.
about him.
I
Yes.
can't believe that I used to love him.
Yes, go on. You were talking about.
What was I talking about? Oh yes, first time actors.
Yeah, first time actor.
Yeah, it's you mean the girl in the mother in the Florida Project.
Yep.
Insane that he literally found her on Instagram and he said to everyone, to the team, he said, I really love her look. I want someone who looks like her for this role. That's what he said.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't find someone, so they thought, okay, fine. Let's just
get her.
let's audition her. Let's
Yeah.
just try. She
Yeah.
had never acted ever. And she was really good, and I think that was a really solid performance. Like you could really, and I
For
think it's
sure, yeah.
similar to Angus Cloud, where he's like playing himself, and that might be the part that
Yeah.
she was basically playing herself.
Yeah.
But it was such a good performance, and even the kids, to get the kids to like act like that is
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
The holdovers. Dominic. What's his
Yeah,
name?
he was a first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just like.
The kid. Oh, interesting. Who directed the holdovers?
It's bad I don't know this. You have to cut this part. It's not
Who
not
directed-
painting me very well that I don't know this part.
Okay, well we're cutting to.
We're gonna cut to break.
Okay.
We've had a long tangent here, a little bit of a laugh. We're
No, we have
gonna
to start again because I caught
Okay, go.
Okay, so we're gonna cut to commercial and take a little break. I was gonna say something weird. I was gonna say soak our toes. What does that mean?
You're a sponge.
You can't have this be the segue.
Hi guys, welcome back to Film Sponge. I got my guest Leo over here, and
Oh,
we're
hello.
discussing things about film.
Yep.
Particularly, that sounded weird. Particularly about us getting into film and
Yeah.
that whole
We
thing.
kind of went off track there at the end.
Yeah, we kind of did. But to get back on track, I want
Yes,
to
yes.
talk about a bit more about our community and how we've
Mhm.
kind of found our film people
Yeah.
and whatnot. Um, so,
Mm-hmm.
who was the first? This is off the cuff. I just came up with this right now. Who is the first person you met that inspired you? Yeah, up that.
Who's
Go.
the first person I met who inspired me?
Yeah, like film.
One person?
Yeah.
You know what? Probably my cousin, because my cousin is also a filmmaker,
Okay. Cool.
and I think he was studying film when I was like 13, and he got me to be in a zombie film. So they
Were
put the
you a
makeup.
zombie?
Yeah, I was a zombie.
Wow.
And he put makeup on me and everything, and then we were just, when he was like moving the camera, I was like, holy shit, you can move the camera. It's not just one angle, and yeah, he still inspires me now, and we still talk and stuff and support each other, um, and yeah, it's just from that one person who I know like does film means it's like yeah, that's like a thing I can do, and the fact that he's still making films now is just extra inspiring as well.
Yeah,
And he
of
still
course.
supports me in my stuff,
Hmm.
But yeah.
Nice.
Were you thinking about someone in uni or something?
Yeah, I was curious if there was anyone in uni. I mean, I feel like, yeah, I met a lot of people, that were in a very similar position to the position I was in then. Just like, not knowing anything really technically. So I think you're a big one. Um, because I mean, you were actually doing it, and that's something we talked about before. It's a lot of talk, right? A lot of people saying like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm one of those people. So, no tea, no shade. It happens. Like you just have all these.
I feel like you gotta like, the people who like do stuff without saying they do it are like, I feel like the most.
The ones who are actually
The
doing
ones
it.
who are actually doing it, yeah, because they're not doing it for attention. They're not doing it to like boast or to, they're just actually doing the thing, and not so concerned with like all the kind of opinions around it. Because I feel like it's very easy, especially nowadays, to get really in your head about wanting to like just make stuff, especially make something that might be criticized by people.
Yeah.
And
I think also with this whole thing of like virality,
yeah.
you need something to get you somewhere instead of just doing it for the sake of doing it, which is something we
Did you
talked
ever
about.
like have that urge to just like make I don't know, like a YouTube channel or like
Yes.
an Instagram
I
or
did.
TikTok, but like not tell anyone, start literal zero and just
Yeah,
like make
I
stuff
mean-
and put stuff out there and see who it is.
I mean, kind of when I did make my YouTube channel, at first I didn't tell anyone,
Yeah.
and then kind of everyone started
Yeah.
finding out. I told my friends, and then just, it just kind of found its way until
Yeah.
like almost everyone in my
Yeah.
school knew, and it was really embarrassing. It was one of those things, well, everyone to my face told me it was great, and it was such a cool thing I was doing, and wow, I'm so talented. I don't know. But behind my back, they were all making fun of me, and it's so silly because I mean, you hear that about so many YouTubers, right?
Yeah.
That they like got made fun of, bullied in school, and now they're millionaires, So it's a bit of a silly thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like you can never escape the judgment, even if you're like just like perfect as a person, you're still gonna get criticism, and
Yeah, 100%.
you can, I don't know.
But that's why you need a good community of people.
Oh, that's
And
a good segue.
segueing
There
back,
it is.
Because I think, so yeah, we went to the same uni. We met briefly. Actually, I don't remember fully meeting in first year. I've told you already that I thought he was the cool guy in first year, that Mr. Popular, because like he was the one. He was the one who was talking in class. I think you got like you got told off once, I think.
Did
for
I?
talking
Did I
in
get
class.
told off?
I kind of remember that.
Oh man.
And like you would roll up like late sometimes, and like,
Sometimes that was my thing. I roll up late and hungover.
but it seemed like you knew everyone already,
Yeah,
and we just did not seem like compatible as friends at all. Or I don't know, I just didn't really like think of it that way. It was only after uni that we
Yeah.
started actually being friends
Yeah, for
and making things together.
It was from like what was it? It was like because you were a friend of my flatmate Jacob mainly, and I think it was like this like a reunion uni like film
Honestly,
reunion.
don't even remember. Oh,
Like film
yes.
course reunion where we were just like we're gonna meet up every month and talk
Yeah.
about all the projects we're gonna do, and we met up one time, and that it was just that first time, and
Yeah.
we're the only ones who actually talked about like making stuff, and we actually did make that thing. It wasn't
Yeah.
the best thing, but we
No.
made it, and yeah, I feel like being able to work with you, that led to like a working also relationship, but also just like a friendship, and
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
that's the best way to kind of find your people, just literally working with them and coming up with stuff because like it's different from just like being coworkers. You're making a thing together. That's like a different type of
It's a different relationship,
yeah, different
like
relationship, different
co-worker.
dynamic.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
because it's like personal, and it's like I think when you're creating stuff and making stuff together, it just it grows that bond. I feel, and if and if you get on, and so much drama happens on set and disagreements that if you find people you genuinely share your values and your
Yeah.
taste with, like cling on to those people.
And I think
yeah.
a big thing also was the fact that we're able to be quite honest with each other. Like, I mean, we've talked about this, that you're
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very honest, what's the word? What is
Like I give honest,
positive
yeah.
criticism. What's the word?
Constructive
Constructive. There we go.
Constructive
Yeah,
criticism.
you're very
Yeah.
honest at giving constructive criticism. Like I know I can count on you, whereas there were a lot of people in uni where I would send a script and I was just told, yeah, it's so good, but that's I know that's not true. It's not that it's bad, but
Yeah.
I know there's always something that can be improved.
Yeah.
You know.
For the record too, for people like for the people out there, like constructive criticism isn't just like tearing a script apart. That's just like being mean, like good feedback is like the good parts too, so you know what not to change.
Yeah.
You can't just be like this is shit, this is shit. You have to like say
Well,
the
that's
things
why
you
it's
like.
constructive.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's feedback with the intention of making it better rather than making what I feel a lot of people do instead is making themselves feel better or just making themselves feel superior by like tearing something else down because that's not what
Or
good
the
feedback
opposite,
is.
where you
Yeah.
just don't say anything at all. Like I
Yep.
said, I feel like especially here in the UK, where people do like to kind of sugarcoat quite a lot. It's hard for people to break out of that and to just say, oh, this doesn't work,
Yeah.
because you can say this doesn't work, but then you have to, what's constructive about it is being like, well, this works, or this doesn't work, but it could work.
I remember Bill
know?
Hader said something about criticism where along the lines of like, good criticism is like, pointing out what works and what doesn't work, but it's not, but in terms of like finding the thing that, that does work, just making it has to come from you. Like, feedback can, they can come up with a suggestion or something they change, but ultimately it's your decision of what to keep or what not to keep. People have different tastes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, 100%. It's
yeah.
subjective. Yeah.
Yeah.
So but that's what I value in your constructive criticism, is that you do often say that at the end. You say, well, despite all of this, it's still your
Yeah. Yeah.
it's your choice at the end of the day, and but it's good to have a group of people that you can trust with
Yeah.
with being honest with you, and if something really just doesn't work, then to tell you that,
Get out of here. Just kidding.
That. But yeah, and so we've met quite a few people. I think
Yeah.
once we kind of got our own group, then we made. I mean, we've been to networking
Yeah.
events.
Yeah.
Tell me how you've
I
met
mean,
your
a lot
people.
I mean, a lot of people, honestly, I met very briefly a bunch of people, but those like long-lasting ones comes from the people, who I decided to work with,
Yeah.
because you can meet a bunch of people and you can be acquainted and have a coffee, but ultimately, like, if you don't work on something together, I doubt it's gonna go anywhere
Yeah.
soon.
There's nothing
So
tying
yeah,
you to
yeah.
each
I
other.
mean,
Yeah.
the people I've worked with in the past, the people who brought me onto projects, I meet people on the set, I remember them, and then for my project my own, or if I get hired for.
Okay, we can cut
That's the
first.
cat. I feel like you meet people on set, you work with those people, you see how they work, you develop a bond, and then if another project comes along, you think of them, you bring them on, or if you have a project of your own, it's good to like have someone in mind for like, okay, that guy was really good at sound on that film.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him. That guy was really good DP. I'm gonna ask him.
Well, what makes someone kind of stand out for you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I think just like getting along with someone.
But it helps.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, because if you're gonna be working, I mean, with anything, any industry, really, it's like all about relationships. And if you don't work well together, or if you, I think it's not even like if you don't work well, like if you don't get along as people,
Yeah.
you're not gonna like work well together. So, like,
You're not gonna enjoy
yeah, exactly.
working.
Like if I had the choice between someone who was really good at what they were doing, but I didn't really like that person versus someone I trusted who maybe isn't as technically proficient, I go with the people the other the second option because it's just um that's something you can improve. You can always improve your skills, but I doubt you can really improve. Like you can't really change how you feel about someone or how you kind of, how you get along with people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's
Or sometimes you might get along with someone, like in a friendship way,
yeah.
but then you just don't mesh well
That's
when you work
true.
together.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely something you find out when it's too late. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that. I mean, you probably have your own experiences, but I've definitely had incidents in the past, in uni, in group projects, because that dynamic's always very weird because, where in a film set there's a hierarchy, in group projects everyone kind of has an equal say. So, we were, good friends, but then this group project came along, and turns out, we didn't really share the same creative vision or anything in common.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is important to actually, have the same kind of values and work
Yeah.
ethics and stuff. That's important too. But I'd say that's like, I mean, friends first, or just like you get on first. It doesn't even have to be friends. Just like you have to get along as a person, and then there goes the whole like skills, like tier list and stuff, and whether you get on with them. Because, yeah, I mean, it's just varies from person to person. How about you? Did you have any like bad experiences with
I wouldn't say any
some
like
people?
terrible experiences that I can recall. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think
Lucky you. You've had some experiences on sets, on big
set.
sets, right? You had that one gig
Yeah, I
as a
had
PA,
so
yeah.
okay. So I was a runner for one thing, and I really didn't feel like I got the actual runner experience. I was supposed to be a food runner for like it was like a food talk show, and it turns out the kitchen porter didn't come in that day. And so I ended up being the kitchen porter. So I was a runner for about 2 hours. Nope, 30 minutes. Where did I get 2 hours from? I was a runner for about 30 minutes to an hour
Yeah.
before I was a KP for the rest of the day. And obviously there's nothing wrong with that, but the whole point was that I was going to be on set. I was going to be wheeling things from on, like literally going up to the guests and
Yeah.
taking their stuff away and putting it away.
Yeah. Would you want a PA again?
Well, it wasn't PA. It was
Yeah,
food
so would you
runner.
want to try to get another PA role somewhere down the line again?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was really upsetting about that one
Mm-hmm.
because they really made it out to seem like this was just the beginning
Yeah.
and that I was going to have all of these days. And I already asked because
Mm-hmm.
it was on Sundays. So I asked my manager already if it was possible that I could get every Sunday off. And he said, yeah, no problem. Like, we can do this. Like, let's make it work for you. And then they just completely aired me.
Yeah.
And I sent about 4 emails, which I already felt like was
Mm-hmm.
too many, and I just got no response, which is really upsetting because I feel like I did my best. I look back and I think maybe I could have, like, now having worked in a restaurant and like having to speak to people even more than in
Yeah.
retail,
Yeah.
I feel like I have the skills to like kind of make more of an impression this time. But I was quite shy, reserved, and I didn't. Also, I feel like in film and TV, you think you kind of have to be quiet. Like you almost think, oh, let me just keep to myself and let me not think that I'm the star.
No, yeah, you gotta really be outgoing. I feel.
Yeah, you really do have to
Yeah.
talk to people, especially like English people. They
Oh.
they love a conversation. They love a little chit
Yeah.
chat. So
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
that's the kind of like the tried and true advice, right? For everyone in film, be a PA and then work your way up. But I
Yeah.
feel like with technology being so accessible and just like there's so many different paths where like you don't have to do the whole PA route. Like for me, I've tried. I recommend everyone to try at least once. Um, you know, just to get a feel, maybe because maybe it works for you. Yeah. So yeah, I've tried being a PA. Didn't really work out for me. I would PA'd for this documentary, and I paid
yeah.
for this music video. Um,
And how did you
it
find the
wasn't
jobs?
it wasn't really that big, but it just felt I felt so separated from the creative process, which you very much are as a PA, and you
Yeah,
kind of have to accept that.
100%. Yeah.
And
You're just helping.
yeah, exactly. And I think it works for some people because it's a good way to connect to people. But on set, people just kind of want to work.
Yeah.
And I think as a PA, like sometimes you're just not even close to the cameras. Like
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're in another location doing runs, etc. Um, and also, I mean, for me, I'm an introvert and can be kind of reserved sometimes. So, and I think that being PA requires you to be a little bit outgoing to make an impression, just so people can come back to you and want to work with you again. And I ain't that.
Yeah.
So I took more of like a freelance approach where I worked on my own stuff, spec stuff, and then was able to work my way up to working on bigger projects. Um, but in terms of getting started, it's a good way to start, but it's not your only way.
Yeah, but also I
Yeah.
think now it's a lot harder to start that way. I mean, like I said, I had one job and I was technically qualified for it.
Yeah.
You don't need qualifications to be a runner. You just have to. I mean, I was overqualified. I had a degree.
Yeah.
And yet that was the only one I could get. And I like I said, I feel like I was
Yeah.
told this whole thing of like, oh, this is it, this is my life from now on, and then it just didn't happen at all. And I tried so hard for so long to get another job like that, and I just couldn't.
Yeah,
It's
it's tough.
so competitive.
It's very competitive.
And it really does become that thing of, you get that one shot,
Yeah.
and if you don't hit it, like I didn't, because I didn't make that impression that I guess I needed to make.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. Plus, there's big things too, like big deal breaker things too, with a lot of PA jobs. Like, do you have a driver's license? Have you worked on
Yeah.
other film sets before? Because I doubt that in a lot of film sets that they're gonna go hire you as a PA if you haven't worked on another film set before. So,
Yeah. Well, because now, runner was always like, entry level. Right
Yeah.
now, production assistant isn't entry level anymore.
Mhm,
You
yeah.
have to have multiple credits to work as a production assistant.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is crazy. Like I've seen things being like a trainee like course to move up to a
Yeah.
production assistant.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that there's this whole idea of you don't need any experience, but then you do. You don't need any qualifications, but
Yeah.
you do. I don't know.
Yeah, my
really
philosophy
crazy.
for like how I work is like, yes, I'm not going to be like with those PAs, those are bigger productions. So the pie isn't as big, but I have a bigger piece of the pie if I'm working as a DP or camera assistant or something. I'm more involved in that way. So I think um, based on what you kind of prefer and what you want to do, you can just try stuff out and see what works. The route I took was like the freelance route, as I mentioned, where I started just making a bunch of spec projects on my own.
The music videos.
Yeah, the music videos, some short films, some like spec ads and stuff, and from that, then I can get work similar to that and there slowly build up, rather than having to slowly build up my connections through PAing, which if you're not going to enjoy it in the moment, if you're just working up to something, some unattainable goal thing that like eventually after 40 years of PAing, maybe I'll finally make a film.
No.
That's not, you're not really, it's not, that's not how you should be living. You should, if you want to aspire to be a filmmaker, you want to make films no matter how small they are. And that's, of course, just my philosophy on it.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
the guy who taught the short course at NFTS, he is a writer, director, producer, and has his own production company. And what he said to me, because I was telling him like I feel kind of like embarrassed that I don't have all these credits that I should.
Yeah.
And he told me that there's a difference between like having jobs and building a career. And you can be very successful. Like we know people that have had many jobs on set, and that's great for them, but at the end of the day, like if you're not working on your own career, like building your own path, then that's all you're ever going to do. You're going to step up, sure, but you're not going to just suddenly become a director or whatever. You might, but I don't know. And that's why I think our big thing, and also what this guy said, is you have to kind of find your own path, which I guess for us is like starting our own production company and branching out and like making it for ourselves.
Seeing how that works out.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's a good kind of ending point. A little nugget to leave you folks with,
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think, it's just a way to do it for ourselves. You can't wait for someone to give you the opportunity. You have to make your own fate. Wow, look at me.
Right.
Okay, I'm outroing. Well, this was Film Sponge. I am your host, Natalia, and I was joined here today with my good friend Lyo, and we are doing this production company with our friend Abby as well, who is off screen right now, and you will see her in the next episode. Exciting. But yeah, how are you feeling after this conversation?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's
Yeah.
my first little podcast thing that I've done, so it's been really fun, and I can't wait to do more of this and see how this turns out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. We'll see you next time.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.